Welcome back to This American Ride podcast, where we talk about issues that affect you, the average American. What's up? Welcome back to the show. Yes, that show, This American Ride podcast. I'm George, sitting here with Bert.
What is going on?
Hey, man, what's not going on?
I don't know what's not going on. Seems like there's a lot going on.
Has been a lot going on. You've took a 3-week hiatus to South Dakota.
Yeah, then came home and followed up with a week away.
A week away down in Ocean City.
It's been a busy couple months for sure.
Yeah.
Fun, a lot of fun, but definitely away a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Busy.
Country's a hot mess.
Sure is.
It's a hot mess. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. I don't know what we'll get to today, but we have
pick something.
I'm getting ready to roll. Get ready to go to Denmark for work to start a trial and put a device in people for the first time since it's been redesigned. So
fingers crossed.
Definitely exciting. Now we feel good about it.
Fingers crossed.
We feel good about it. We do. But never been to Denmark.
Yeah, me neither.
And a lot of stuff was last minute. We thought we were going to go to Czech Republic afterwards, and we're not. So I'm one-way flights all the way across the world. It's like
one-way flights.
Yeah, man. Book a one-way from.
You're definitely getting a full body cap.
Oh man, I'm on even.
For sure.
I'm a hot mess, man. I know we are flying one way from Philly to Copenhagen. I got a direct, and I got a middle seat direct for 7.5 hours, but it's like economy plus or whatever. So it's not business class, but it's business class seat, and but it's still in the middle. And then coming back, I gotta take like a puddle jumper. It's like a 45-minute flight from a whole different city, like Billund. I can't pronounce any of their cities. To what's the big airport in England? Heathrow.
Yep.
And then Heathrow back to JFK. So I'm flying out of Philly back into JFK. I'm a hot mess.
Yeah, I don't envy that.
Yeah, so
I'd rather drive my truck to South Dakota
than to take 3 flights to and from Europe. That's all right.
Flights in general is not my thing.
It's crazy. So we got elections coming up.
Coming up quick.
Coming
up quick.
Real quick. Real quick.
Have the Democrats actually decided that this is actually going to be their candidate?
This is going to be their. Well, they've told
they've
told the people that this is going to be their candidate.
Oh man.
But the messaging of her, it's just unbelievable. There's a lot of things that are also in the wind. He had the debate with Biden. He buried Biden in the debate. Biden buried himself. Then they decide that they are going to nominate Kamala, who did not get a single vote in any primary anywhere, which is just like, I kind of feel like people listening to us will get this, but you're telling people that Donald Trump is a threat to democracy when you've literally taken the loosest spin that you could possibly take and coronate, however you want to word it, the person that you're going to run for office.
Yeah, well, you completely bypassed any type of democratic process that we have, and yeah, it's mind-boggling, and people really people fall for it. It's crazy.
Well,
it's discouraging.
Yeah, but it's all part of the plan, right? They haven't talked about anything other than you have to hate Donald Trump, because those are the people that they're going to get to vote for them. They're not voting for them because of what they've done for them, because people are better off now than they were 4 years ago, because they're not. And you know what I mean? So they're just voting on a basis that they're campaigning on a basis of hate.
Yeah, I don't see their message reaching anybody that wasn't already going to vote that way, no matter who they put in there, because they hate Donald Trump. And they're obviously hardcore left. Do you really see her reaching independence? with her messaging. I don't think so. I think he's doing a better job of that.
I think he has done a better job of that, and I think he's been this time around very mild with the rhetoric for the most part.
Absolutely.
I mean, other people might not agree with that, but I think he has been. I think he's done much better this campaign than he did the last campaign. And I got to tell you, I mean, divine intervention or whatever, that first assassination attempt, man, that a light bulb went off in this guy. He's changed, man.
Yeah.
First assassination attempt. I feel like he came out to the convention a changed campaign with a changed message. You know, that was, I mean, just my opinion on it.
Well, it's actually kind of funny, right? Because as soon when that happened, right away, the whole left was talking about how we gotta tone down the rhetoric. It's dangerous. This is what happens. Blah 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 blah. Right. And I actually think of everyone involved, like he's the only one that actually has done that.
And
like 2 days later, they're back to calling him, you know, the biggest threat to democracy and the threat to the country, and he's dangerous and all, you know, all the same things that almost got him killed in the first place. They haven't changed one bit. If anybody, like you said, he's the only one that's really made an effort to change.
Yeah, and there's lots of these little topics we can hit along the way. I mean, Hillary Clinton put herself front and center, and she said that people should be locked up and prosecuted for spreading misinformation. Yeah. The misinformation queen who, you know, essentially deleted all of the evidence before she could get subpoenaed to Congress. You know, it's basically she wants to violate your First Amendment right? So you're not free to speak. You're not free to do that.
Yeah.
The Democrats have violated First Amendment. You can't challenge an election, which actually constitutionally you can. So they're charging this guy with, you know, challenging an election. Mind you, Hillary challenged an election. She challenged Wisconsin. She challenged Pennsylvania, right? She challenged Michigan last time around. That was all, but that was kind of buried. And then Kamala, whatever we want to address her as, gets caught where, you know, she is like on a Monday. I feel like it was on a Monday. She was like, oh, you know, Tim Walz and I are gun owners and yada, 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 and this and that. And, you know, all like got this all of a sudden this smooth, like we have to appeal to the gun owning voters, right? Because maybe some of those are kind of middle of the road people. And I think a lot of them are, right? Just because you own a gun doesn't make you a hardcore conservative. I don't feel like I know lots of people on the left who own guns, which I scratch my head at, but that's where they're at, right?
Why do you scratch your head?
Because I feel like if
part of hypocrisy, it makes complete sense.
If you're voting for people who want to take your guns away and you own guns, it's like, I don't know. You're confused, I think.
But wasn't she just on Oprah talking about how if you broke into her house, she was, I don't know if this thing was old or not, but it just started. I just saw it.
I think that one was,
I don't know why it'd be old though, because I don't know why I don't know, but she was saying that if you broke into her house, she's going to shoot you. And then she like realized right away that it was a dumb thing to say, and then started doing her laughing, and then said, my staff will take care of that later.
Yeah.
Like, what does that mean? Like,
I don't know. But she said this, and it wasn't that, you know, she said that the government has the right to come into your house and check to see if you're storing your gun safely. I'm assuming that shotgun on the wall behind you is not stored safely.
Does that even work?
Paper cartridges, it does, yeah.
I don't think they're worried about you, dude.
I know, right? But I mean, but still, I mean, you have no right to come into my home. You need to, you know, at a bare minimum, you need to get a search warrant, and even then, I don't know. You know what I mean? I
don't think people realize how close we are to being like what's going on in Europe right now, where they're literally arresting people for posts that they make on social media that they don't like. They just call it hate speech and throw you in jail, and that's what's going on there. And we're not far at all from that, man. No. We're one election away.
I mean, and that's the point. And you know, Donald Trump says, you know, they spun this statement out of control where he says, you know, you have to vote in this election because it may not matter after this. And the left takes this as Donald Trump is gonna do away with the presidency and be a dictator and take control, which is like, okay, well, he didn't do that in 2016. Like, relax. But, you know,
stuff they say.
Right? Like, where are you going with that? Like,
I can't even begin to pretend to understand anything that they say.
You know, they are not constitutionalists. Let me put it that way. And I almost feel like we're at the birth of a new party, or the Republican Party is changing. It's got something's got to give here. I mean, we're still obviously not all together because we can't vote on a budget. We're gonna.
Yeah,
we can't. We can't. We can't whip enough votes together to vote for a budget for these Republicans, but we should just. This is not the time to make an issue of it. But I feel like the party is changing a little bit. I mean, there's a couple of different movements going on.
I feel like it's been in that process for a few years now.
Yeah, the media is definitely not talking about. I mean, the media is just a joke. I feel like mainstream news and mainstream media. I mean, their ratings are. Megyn Kelly is killing mainstream media.
Well, a lot of those people
on YouTube.
That went independent are, a lot of them are.
I mean, Sean Ryan, who
Tucker Carlson's killing them.
Tucker Carlson's killing them, right? I mean, and these are people that the mainstream media wanted to see never had not only had a job but never had a voice. Mm-hmm. So it shows you that people are listening. I mean, you look at Sean Ryan, and Sean Ryan kind of started out as this podcaster with mental health and. Guys talking about their combat experiences and mental health and, their journeys through life. But I feel like he has evolved into a form of journalism.
Oh, yeah.
That is, that
just interviewed the president.
He interviewed the president. He interviewed Vance.
Yep.
He had Megyn Kelly on.
Yep,
He's had Vivek Ramaswamy on. He had,
he's killing it, man.
He had Kennedy on.
Killing it.
It's
wild,
absolutely insane. And Kennedy's another thing. So I mean, we kind of bounce around here, but Kennedy, it's like we last talked. He was running as an independent, and I feel like he had the roots enough to. I mean, obviously running as an independent, but he had the roots enough to start a party. He would have gotten the votes. He would have gotten enough votes to like make an independent party or make a third party a run at it. I do. I really think so, because I think that would have taken this whole population of America of people who don't necessarily want to vote for Donald, but know they don't want to vote for Kamala, and that would have funneled into Kennedy. And I don't think he would have won. I don't think it would have been that many votes. But it would have been enough votes to make life interesting.
I feel like that would have hurt Democrats more than.
I think it would have hurt everybody, because I think for the first time, I think he was the guy. He's the guy I feel like that could put everybody below the amount of electoral votes. I think he could have pulled that off, but he reached out to the Democratic Party, which was his party, obviously, and was like, hey. This is what I want to this is what I want to get done. I want to approach, children and children's health and our food chain and all these things that I want to do. And they basically told him to kick rocks.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They told him to kick rocks. They're like, you're not going to have a place. Like, we don't want you. And, he did what smart politician would do, and he called Trump up and he's like, listen, this is what I am trying to get done. I'm probably not going to win this race, but this is what I want as a politician for this country. This is what I want to get done. And Trump sat down with him. Tulsi Gabbard's another one.
Yep.
Tulsi Gabbard buried Kamala.
A lot of Democrats leaving that party, man.
Yeah. Somebody else just left too.
Yeah. Who was that?
Somebody else just left the party.
A couple of more no-name type, lower level politicians have left recently too. But I mean, when he's got, Elon switching on. He's always been a Democrat. You got Tulsi Gabbard leaving. You got RFK leaving. You got just lots of people that just can't. They don't connect with that crazy.
Manchin left.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously, But I mean, Tulsi Gabbard was a big one. I mean, Tulsi Gabbard's been in politics for her entire life. I mean, she was one of the youngest people to hold a seat in Hawaii. And she's just like, it's not my party. Just like RFK said, it's not my party. I think they need to say that louder.
Yeah, I do too.
Because it's not, the Democrats always had this is the party of the working class, the party of.
That's not true anymore.
It's not true.
It's totally taken the switch.
Yeah. It's not true.
Republicans used to be the party of, country club party of the rich. And I think it's really taken a big, 180, and it's a complete opposite now.
The Teamsters, for the first time since 86, I think.
Depends on who you ask.
I don't know what the year, but the year I heard was 86. So the first time since 86 are not going to endorse a candidate, which I think is bullshit, because the reason that they gave is that we're not going to endorse a candidate because our members won't vote for Kamala. Well, if your members are saying that they're going to vote for Trump, which is exactly
why wouldn't you endorse
then
Trump?
just go endorse Trump.
Yeah.
Scumbags.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
So, but yeah, it's first time. I think 86. I don't know what year you might have heard, but
no, I was just going to joke because when Trump always likes to inflate things. He's like 60 years. Somebody else was like 30. He was like more realistic. He likes to be a little crazy.
So, second assassination attempt.
I don't see it being the last.
Definitely not the last.
I really don't see it being the last, man. And it's crazy how someone can get that close twice. Like I just don't understand how.
Here's the thing, though.
There's so many weird, shady connections with this guy, and
this guy's from Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
Shouldn't have been there. All right. The decision for Trump to go golfing, which is all by design at this point, right, was last minute. They were like, "Hey, we got a couple hours. Let's go play around." So that wasn't like on a schedule someplace, which means that it's got to be somebody in the circle or somebody's spouse in the circle. I mean, it could be that too. I mean, you go home and talk to your spouse, like, "Hey, no, we're gonna golf tomorrow." You know what I mean? Or I'm gonna be home, whatever we're gonna be. And it could be somebody's spouse who's tapped, because that's happened before too, right? And then they get a guy who was nowhere near it, in position, in cover, on a golf course, with a rifle that fits the rhetoric that they want to, ban. Semi-automatic AK, right? I think that's what he had.
Yeah.
And, they scouted out ahead. They saw a barrel sticking through the bushes, and they chase ensued. And it was probably a lot of ground to cover, and then Florida State Troopers, Highway Patrol, in a pursuit with this guy. Do you know how they caught him?
No, I don't remember.
Did you hear the story? Apparently there was a woman who saw like all this scuffling and saw this dude who was really like super bizarre, and I guess had the gun and whatever he was, and she parked like not far behind him and took a picture of his license plate.
Well, he left the gun.
Or he left the gun, yeah. But he had something.
He might have maybe had another one.
I don't know. But yeah, like he was crazy enough that she was like, "Hey, that dude's not right," and took a picture of his license plate.
There was a couple people on Jesse Waters the other night who knew him from back in Ukraine, when he was in Ukraine, and they were talking about this guy and how odd and weird and crazy, and the stories that he had and the plans he had. And he apparently, like, they were talking like he had all these different world leaders that he felt should be assassinated, and he was always like talking about plans on how to do it and things like that.
About how he's a revolutionary.
But the thing that I also heard was weird, and I don't know the validity of this, but I can't even remember who was saying it. Apparently at the course there's several spots that are known like problem areas as far as security goes. And that area where he was camped out, one of them, and they said protocol was, and has always been, and they've done it all the time when he goes to golf, is to actually have a Secret Service person that's posted at that spot.
Oh, wow.
And all of a sudden this time they weren't. So I don't know how accurate that is, but that's just something else.
Could be. I mean, golf courses, I mean, they get close to roads. I mean, it's just not like, I mean, they're golf courses. It's not the Trump International that is down here in Glassboro. I mean, it's
right.
You can see like 2 or 3 holes from the road.
Yeah, you can sneak onto them.
Yeah, it's not like you can't. But
they're not prisons.
But here's my thing. I mean, the guy was in Ukraine. This guy was also
all over the place.
All over the place. He was also in a Blackwater commercial.
Yeah, and that's funny because they said, and I didn't see it, but I've seen that where they say both of these two now both have been in Blackwater commercials. What are the odds of that?
Have you been in Blackwater commercials?
I didn't even know there were Blackwater commercials.
I haven't been in any Blackwater commercials.
Is it Blackwater or Black Rock?
Black Rock, whatever. I mean, yeah, one of the other. It might be Black Rock.
It's Black Rock. I don't know.
Yeah, Black Rock. Yeah. Yeah. So it's like,
I've never even seen the commercials.
What the hell, dude?
How have they all of a sudden both of these guys? Yeah, it's a little too fishy.
Yeah. It's
they're saying, they raided this guy's house in Hawaii. It was a disaster. Like, it's a mess. His truck was like, they showed his truck. It was like a disaster. And he didn't even have the doors didn't even have the panels on them anymore. It was just like metal. They're saying he had $25 to his name as far as in bank accounts, and yet he's flying all over the country, all over the world.
Yeah.
How does that work?
None of that works. Yeah, he's a CIA operative. There's just no way the guy's not CIA. There's no way he's not working for the CIA. Yeah, or he's working for somebody where the money is shelled somewhere.
Yeah, there was who was it? They had some former cop on from down in, I think, Florida, who had apparently had a lot of run-ins with him. They said they went through the list of things that he'd done and been arrested for. It was insane, the list, and he got off every time.
Every time.
Some of the stuff they were saying was crazy.
It's like the guy
he was in an armed standoff with the police before.
Yeah.
How do you
walk away and not want to be in jail?
Single day in jail? It's,
you know what it reminded me of? Remember the dude that Clinton had? They made a movie on the guy, the drug running pilot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when he's in front of the DA and he was like, "Listen, I'm gonna walk."
Yeah. Well, that's what this cop was saying. He was he had this ego about him of being untouchable, and he would always just have this arrogance that nothing was ever going to stick to him.
Yeah.
And every time he'd be all of a sudden a judge would just throw the case out because to clear the docket or whatever, just with no kind of real reason.
Yeah.
And he would just walk on all this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't tell me there's people.
DeSantis did not turn him over to the FBI. I thought this is a great moment in U.S. history. I don't think we realize how awesome this is right now. Because DeSantis said, "Listen, Trump is he's not a president. He's a U.S. citizen. This guy attempted murder." DeSantis said, "On Florida soil, he broke several dozen laws in the state of Florida, and we're going to get to the bottom of this."
I think he even pointed out that, the FBI is the one that have come after Trump, raided his house, did all these things. And he's like, why, and they're the ones investigating. Why I'm not turning him over.
I said, he says, I can't in good conscience turn him over to the people that are trying to prosecute Donald Trump, who will now try and defend Donald Trump. Right. This doesn't make sense.
Yeah. And I feel and I mean, it still may happen, but I feel if he had turned him over, man, he'd probably be dead already, that guy.
I think that guy's gonna be dead anyway.
He might be, but it's gonna take it's gonna be a little bit harder. They gotta work a little bit harder. It's wild.
Yeah, I mean, how do you? Holy shit, dude! I mean, this guy's been in Ukraine. Again, he's been in Ukraine. He's been in and he's a professor who on paper is broke.
Mm-hmm.
And there's video of him on social media trying to radicalize students.
Dude's weird.
I mean,
every picture of him, his hair. What's with the hair? He's in photos wearing a suit and his hair looks like he just woke up.
Bro was smiling in his mugshot.
Yeah, he's
smiling in his mugshot.
Probably because he knows he's going to walk again.
Yeah. Bro was smiling in his mugshot.
Especially if, Kamala wins, or whatever her name is. He'll walk.
Yo. I can't see it. I can't see it.
Well, the good thing is, she did have the interview and she did at least talk about how she's going to bring down the high costs of food and all that stuff.
Oh, is she?
Yeah.
How's she doing that?
Oh, well, she was born into a middle-class family. And she lived in a neighborhood where they really took pride in their lawns.
Yeah, in California.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's
my favorite.
That's how she's going to bring down. That's it. That's her answer.
That's her answer
to how you're going to bring down costs so people that are struggling can start living again. That was her answer.
My favorite meme of the week was Netanyahu where they said, and Netanyahu above it says, is you responsible for the pager explosions, which we will also get to. And right below that is Netanyahu says, well, I was born into a middle class family. She's got no plan. Then they had this debate. There's an affidavit floating around.
Oh, they got plans, but it ain't to help anybody, and it ain't anything they want to talk about.
No,
and I don't know if you saw it before. You just go to what Trump's been doing it. His campaign's been killing it on the campaign ads and commercials.
Oh yeah, it's
just great. Using everything that she says against her, like crazy. And they just put out, I don't know if you saw it, but they just put out one that had it was an ad that had Kamala Harris's Project 2025 plan, and then it went through all the their horrible, just all the crap that they not letting the border stay open, just all the crap that we have as a problem right now. Right. Was on this. It's pretty brilliant because they keep. I mean, how many times do these things have to be debunked? And every one of her ads keeps saying them. Like, at what point are you held accountable for that? And
there aren't many ads that they're running.
No,
there's 3 or 4 ads that are circulating that we see here. In
the abortion thing, it pisses me off. It's so ridiculous, right? To keep saying that he's pushing some federal abortion ban. He's already 1 million times in front of the entire world said he has no desire to ban anything. It's done. It's over with. The federal government's out of it. They have nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Like it's supposed to be, and yet they just continue to talk about.
He said on debate they could have codified it, they didn't. Yeah. They had 4 years to codify it, they didn't.
It just drives me nuts.
That's been my point about the abortion argument. The Democrats have been in control 12 of the last 16 years, and they've done what for it? They've done what? They've just let it meander and kick along, and the reason that they let it meander and kick along is so they can use it as a social issue come election time.
That's it.
That's the only reason they
don't care about it.
That's why they're not going to fix it.
Right. They want it to remain a problem because that's what they run on every year.
Yeah.
When they have nothing else, and their whole candidacy doesn't stand a chance, they bust that out and they rile up all the women and beta males, and that's what they run on. It's a one issue part. That's all they have.
My other one was, she says you do not have to abandon your faith to believe in abortion.
Oh, did you see?
That was a good one. That was a good one.
It was. And did you see who actually came out on that? And
my boy Harrison Bucker.
No. It was actually, and if I could find it real quick, I would read it. It was actually Tony Dungy.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
Tony Dungy did. Oh my God.
He had a really good comeback on that.
I saw the Tony Dungy tweet. And you know what? I'm still calling them tweets. I don't care.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tony Dungy came out, and that's where I saw this.
He said, Dear VP Harris, I hear you make this statement all the time. Exactly what faith are you talking about when you say you don't have to abandon it to support abortion? Are you talking about the Christian faith that says all babies are made in the image of God, that God places them in the womb, and that we should not take any life unjustly? Are you talking about the faith? Are you talking about that faith, or some nebulous general faith that says we're good enough and smart enough to make our own decisions? What faith are you talking about? I thought that was pretty.
Did she respond to that?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. Why would you?
I mean, why? They're not going to respond to anything.
Yeah.
But I mean, I thought that was pretty.
Yeah, and that's where I saw it. I saw that.
Big.
I saw that tweet come across. But I mean, that goes on to, I mean, you see a big Christian revolution, I feel like, in some of the Southern colleges, which were, Democratic strongholds for a long time. And I feel like when you start seeing it at the university and collegiate level, I mean, granted, that's not, Ivy League and what have you. It's not Columbia, obviously. But, when you start to see it at the university level, I think that says a lot for the direction the country's going.
Yeah.
I mean, there's hope there.
Yeah, there is. It all depends where you look. If your eyes are open, you see there's a lot of young people, kind of flocking to the conservative values in the Republican Party.
Yeah.
Republican Party has its issues, but just conservatism in general, like, morals and things like that.
Yeah. But it'll be, I don't know. I feel like the party is I feel like the people coming into the party are either going to force the party to change a little bit, or it's going to morph into something that it just hasn't been.
Yeah.
I feel like, because the pendulum has swung so far, with, all this gender stuff and all the rest of the, the bullshit that they are, pushing, that the pendulum has to come back. I mean, that's how pendulums work. I mean, that's how,
Yeah.
Unless it's gone forever, but I don't know. I don't believe that.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't believe that. I was just thinking something and I totally lost my train of thought. Sorry.
That's all right. So David Muir in this debate, what a joke. What a joke this debate was. And
I got to be honest, I didn't watch it all.
I didn't watch any of it. I watched the clips. I watched the highlights.
Carolyn was watching it and I was listening. We were in Ocean City, weren't we? It was recent, right?
Yeah.
We were in Ocean City, and we were like getting ready to lay in bed. She was listening to it, and I was listening, and I was like, I can't. This is pointless.
Yeah.
I don't even need, in my opinion, and obviously I'm already biased, but in my opinion, him just showing up, he wins, because you would never catch her showing up into a hornet's nest like that.
No,
right?
And they never will.
So it was 3-on-1, and she really didn't have to do anything except sit there. And
I thought he handled himself brilliantly.
From what I've seen in the aftermath of it, like, I think so too.
It was one thing to not fact check her, and fact check him. It was another thing to have your fact check be wrong.
Yeah.
Blatantly wrong. I mean, fact check was wrong on crime. Department of Justice came out the next day and was like, yeah, no, crime is up.
Mm-hmm.
Crime is not down 46%. Crime is up. And then that no state in the union can have a full-term abortion.
Yeah.
They said it's not available anywhere, and it is available. It is available in Maryland. It is available in New Jersey. It is available in Minnesota.
Oh, yeah.
That is available to people.
It's why, I mean, it's like living in the Twilight Zone, man. It can be demoralizing at times, because you just watch, like, he can say things that are absolutely factual and will get fact checked, and they'll say he's lying.
He's lying.
And of course, all the Orange Man bad people believe it. And she can literally just sit there and continue. And like all of her ad campaigns, she still continues to do say some of those things that have been 100% debunked, and not just, by, conservatives, by like, what's the one, what's that one website that does, Snopes.
Yeah. Snopes.
That's not a conservative site by any stretch
of the imagination.
And the whole Charlotte thing, the abortion thing, like just all these things that she keeps saying, that Project 25 or 2025, like all these things that are just blatant lies, and she can say them and they'll just back her.
Oh, yeah.
It's
oh yeah, they were fighting the battle with her.
Crazy.
I mean, they were fighting the battle with her. And then
to find out the chick is like like sorority sisters or whatever.
They were sorority sisters, and that's not some made up shit either. That's real.
But no, the reason I joked earlier about, like, are you sure this is the last one? Because I just saw today or yesterday that CNN had actually put out fact checking on a bunch of stuff that she said, and basically calling her out for lying about a bunch of things.
Yeah.
And I was just kind of joking, because like typically once, just like when they did with Biden, when they start to turn on a candidate, and actually a Democrat candidate, and start calling out their lies, typically they're kind of done with them and they're moving on to the next person.
Person. Well, there were a couple of things that, and TikTok, like, you love to hate things like TikTok, but TikTok gives people a chance to put things out there into the universe. And there have been several TikToks that have come across my feed where women calling Johns Hopkins, women calling abortion centers in New Jersey, telling them that they are, how far along they are, and that they're in a jam and yada, yada, yada. And the abortion clinic's like, yep, no problem. We do this all the time, full term.
Wild.
And how they do it. Like then there's a TikTok on there. Johns Hopkins explains the procedure, and she's.
So you saw the latest though about the whole abortion thing, right? Where this chick in Georgia died, and the left is going crazy and saying it's because of the abortion ban, Trump's abortion ban, which is hilarious because
if it was banned, she probably wouldn't have died.
He doesn't have one, but no, she took that abortion pill.
Oh.
And it was effects from that.
And she might have hemorrhaged.
And then, what they said happened was, and they said that like this is something that like Planned Parenthood, who pushes this pill, and actually says, I was listening to a thing that actually says on their website that it is as safe as ibuprofen. And then the reality is it's not, because you need to be monitored, because what happened was not all of the baby came out. And it like was left in her, and she ended up with sepsis.
Yep.
And then they're trying to blame the hospital wasn't allowed to do anything to help her, which the law clearly states that if the baby is already dead, they are 100%. What is it? A DNC? I think it's like a DNC or something like that, where they go,
a DNC,
yeah, DNC. That is,
and
okay. They were, the law is completely clear that they were allowed to, but they didn't. They waited like 12 hours, and she ended up dying. And they have not been able to get any type of response from the hospital as to like why or how it happened. So they're like not willing to say anything. But it was like a combination of, you took this abortion pill that is not safe. But they keep trying to push onto people, and they say like they're like that's like 70% of the abortions now is like through this pill.
Oh yeah. So company Roussel Uclough, right?
Okay.
Is the company that the abortion pill is it was called RU486 when it came out. They've rebranded it since.
Okay.
I don't know if you know this link, and this is a legit link. The company Roussel Uclough developed 486 is the same company that was started by the same doctor who created the gas for the chambers for the Jews. Direct link.
Okay.
You can look it up and fact check. I was floored when I found that out. I said it's just the bizarrest connection to me.
Yeah.
And that was because that was the name of the pill, RU486, Roussel Uclough. I think Roussel was the guy who created the gas. After the war, they created this pharmaceutical company that's been kind of exchanged through a couple of times now. But yeah, same company.
Interesting.
Weird, huh?
There's a lot of, the funny thing is there's a lot of really weird connections when it comes to both government and these types of businesses and these types of companies and these basically, the elites. And there's just way too many coincidences and weird connections that just aren't coincidences.
Well, and I mean, my point is, like, when you talk about things like this pill and you see where the Democrats were with the Affordable Care Act and where they are about pushing flu vaccines, and how they've linked flu vaccines to the amount of Medicare funding that hospitals can get as part of the Affordable Care Act that was in those pages, what they've done, and they're still pushing this COVID vaccine. Like, you effing kidding me? They're still pushing this COVID vaccine. And then you see, their right for abortion. And I'm just looking at it at this point, like, again, nothing to do with women's rights. All to do with big pharma, all to do with making money. Absolutely nothing to do with women's rights.
Yeah.
I mean, you can rationalize it in any way you want, but at the end of the day, it's money.
Of course.
At the end of the day, it's money. But the media's poster child, David Muir. I mean, it's just neither here nor there with David Muir. I mean, I think he made a decent anchor on the news for what news I watched, which really isn't much. I mean, the amount of David Muir I see is when I bring mom dinner.
Where did he
usually
anchor on the news?
He's like a World News Tonight guy, David Muir. Yeah. So, but he's the World News Tonight guy. He's like, he's like this generation's Cronkite, which he's definitely not. But I mean, for him to be involved in that mess and then to see, what JD Vance, and this is what I love about JD Vance. JD Vance in a media interview can stay so calm and so on point and tell people you're not being fair. You're not being, you're not being partial.
Right.
And I don't know if you saw what he did to Dana Bash.
No, I didn't.
Dana Bash was asking him questions, and she was doing the Dana Bash thing. Like, I don't know if you.
Watch mainstream.
So what she does? Well, I watch the clips of especially JD Vance. I've gotten in the habit because I really love the way he handles himself. He disarms them completely because he says, "No, if you want to debate me," he said to her, "we can debate. But I am here because you wanted to ask me questions, which means I should answer the questions. Otherwise, I don't know why I'm here." He says, just last week, you had Kamala and Waltz on. You asked them questions. You gave them multiple choice answers. You allowed them to answer. He says, you're rattling off a question now, and you're interrupting me 3 sentences into my answer. He says, what are we doing here? And I just, not even something Trump would do.
Right.
You know what I mean? Not even something.
No.
Not
He's
even
very different than Trump.
Oh, he is.
Very. No, and that's great because you really just put them on the spot, and they I'm sure what was her response?
There was no response.
Right. Because you completely caught off guard and feel like an idiot.
You're disarmed.
Yeah,
I mean, you
completely. I mean, it's brilliant.
The other left spin they have now about JD Vance is that the campaign has bought this guy this dog because he brings his dog with him everywhere.
Who does?
JD Vance.
Oh, okay.
He's dogs on the campaign trail. Whatever.
Now he's losing me.
Yeah, I know. I know. But this dog he has, and he had the dog in the Tucker Carlson interview. Mm-hmm. And the dog is behaved. You can see clearly. He goes, we've had this dog since he was a puppy. He says, this dog is trained. I raised this dog. The dog, and you could see the dog is just in love with him. He would go over, and obviously he would smell Carlson, but he would come right back to JD. I mean, it wasn't just attached to everybody. And, the left is saying that the campaign has given this guy a dog, so he's more appealing to the average person.
Wow. Well, they should try to give Kamala one then because she's far from appealing.
I mean, listen, she grew up in a middle-class family. She should have a dog.
They had nice lawns. They had really nice lawns in her neighborhood. They had construction workers.
I mean, there's no way
teachers.
There's no way. There's just no way she was that middle class.
Why?
I mean, her father was a professor. It's not like they were.
So I don't know the whole dynamic. Are you sure? She talks about her mom being raised by her mom, and her mom saving up to buy them their first house when they were a little bit old,
right.
Almost teenagers. So where was
the father?
Was the father not they probably weren't together?
Maybe they weren't together. I don't know.
Yeah, that's pretty typical.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, and I don't really care because honestly, it doesn't matter. I don't need to know that to know that she's full of crap.
That you're not voting for,
and that she's the worst thing for the fact that these liberal women are trying to rally behind her because she's a woman or she's a woman of color. She is the absolute worst thing for women.
Yeah.
For all the women who are independent and strong and smart and successful, that's not her.
No, it's never been her.
She's done shifty, shady, pretty despicable, crappy things to get where she's at. Mm-hmm. And she's kind of an embarrassment to the women that earn their place.
I agree with that too, and I know plenty of other people who agree with that, but I also know plenty of people that are just hate the orange man. It doesn't matter. They could they could probably run you in her place, and you would get votes because so many people hate Donald.
Yeah, they're funny. It's just there's so many things. They've just spent the last what's it been now? It's probably pushing 10. At least the last 8 years, right? They've been trying to tell us how, you don't get to decide what a woman is. And if you ask them to define a woman, they can't. Uh-huh. But now today they want you to vote for her because she's a woman.
Yep.
Well, wait a minute. I thought the gender wasn't really a thing. It's just confusing. Do we know what women are or do not know what women are? Can we make up our mind? Because I'm confused. Did we ask her pronoun? Are we sure that she considers herself a woman? Are you just assuming her gender?
I don't know.
Maybe she's gender fluid. she's had a lot of
It's
gender fluids. What are you doing over there?
I can't. I was looking for some funny Kamala quotes because I thought I had them
God.
up, but you know, it's now they want to close the border, which I don't think they want to do. I think that's just I know. Well, we know that they don't want to close the border because that's their thing. But the other thing is, now here's a prosecutor, right? She's a prosecutor. She says she's been tough on crime, right?
Mhm.
That's her thing. I was a prosecutor. I'm tough on crime. Well, in the same breath, we don't consider people here legally criminals.
Right. And she was raising money to get the criminals that were rioting and burning the streets down out of jail.
Oh, yeah.
That doesn't seem very tough on crime.
Not very tough on crime. So, and then they roasted Trump over the whole over the whole eating pets thing, which I guess he could have worded differently because he did give them a bit of a battle cry. And I hate when he gives them a battle cry. But the town of Springfield, Ohio is a hot mess. Yeah. It's a gang hot mess. And, you know, they've interviewed more than one person who's been on the news that, like, we have no more geese in our park. Like, my pets are gone. Like, my dog in the backyard's gone.
It's at a horse now.
Yeah. So, and I mean, people have been making light of it, but I mean, this is when you get people here from a third world country, you know, it's not going to matter. It's not going to matter. I mean, imagine people stealing geese out of
I ain't stealing them. They're like grabbing them and freaking
grabbing them and killing them,
like snapping their necks, like right there in front of people who are like playing with their kids.
Yeah.
And then walking down the street with like a dead goose. Like, it's weird, man. It's so weird.
Oh my God.
I'm surprised American citizens have, like, in towns like that, have like stood for it without doing just their own kind of.
Well,
justice.
I mean, that's just, yeah.
I'm really surprised.
Disappointed, actually.
Yeah, that too.
I mean, disappointed, actually. And I mean, listen, not for nothing. We live in a migrant area. We have a lot of farming here in South Dakota. People might not realize that, but we do.
Yeah.
We've got one of the biggest blueberry crops, one of the biggest cranberry crops, probably one of the biggest soy crops in the country. And we have a lot of migrants here. And they're not doing it.
Yeah.
That we know of, that I've seen.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know what I mean? It's not.
Nah, it's weird.
You know.
Things weird.
I mean, maybe Jersey Mexican people are, you know. But I think, and that's the other thing. I feel like, well, these are Haitian immigrants apparently too.
Yeah.
I feel like our Mexican population that we have here, like Hamilton, there's not trouble down there. You know what I mean? I've never
not like
felt unsafe, nothing. You know what I mean? Nothing out of the ordinary. I mean, they're always nice. You're in a restaurant with them. A lot of them own businesses. Like, it's not like,
well,
it's not a thing.
Yeah, no, it's not.
You know, it's not that environment, you know?
No. Not
that I'm defending it, but I mean, it's not that environment.
I've never felt unsafe around Mexicans.
No. But
I mean, they're all like 5'3". Just saying, like, no, but yeah, no, that's some weird stuff, and that's like some new stuff. Like these ones here, like they've, you know, obviously I can't account for all of them, but like they've been here. Like this is like they've been in this region working these farms and stuff for a long time. It's not like they just came over here recently illegally. I mean, they might be here illegally, but not like they just came over in this recent flood of like this. Like people used to come here. They legitimately used to come here illegally for a better life. That's not the thing anymore.
That's not what these people are coming for. They're not fleeing, you know, some sort of whatever persecution in another country and coming here for a better life and to raise their family and make money for their family. That's not why they're coming here anymore. No.
They're coming here to get stuff free off the government, and they're coming here because they know they can do it and there's no repercussions.
They're coming here to escape jail. They're coming here to escape jail. They're coming here to escape, you know,
but here's the other thing, right?
Outstanding warrants and
sanctuary cities, right? I don't agree with it from the door, but when did sanctuary city, which was basically the cities are saying they're not going to like deport these people, they're not going to give them up to ICE and stuff like that. They're illegals, right? But when did that become like diplomatic immunity? Like these people are like, now they're like protecting criminals who've committed crimes that are illegal.
I feel
like it's one thing if you want to protect, like they came here illegal, which from the door is wrong, but like they're just here working hard and minding their business, right? That's one thing. If your bleeding heart wants to protect that, but they like raped people, they've killed women, they've done these horrible things, and they're still saying, "Oh, sanctuary city, we're protecting them."
Yep.
What is that?
I feel like on one hand, you're right. I don't agree with it. On another hand, I feel like, the way this country is structured, we walk a fine line between federal government and local government. And I kind of feel like it falls into that. And, if your local government wants to make you a sanctuary city, well, then, I mean, I've either got to, I put the wrong people in office,
for sure,
or I have to leave. I mean, that's, we talk about states' rights with abortions, and then we kind of, to devil advocate, you can talk about states' rights with these sanctuary cities. The thing where I draw the line is, I think if you want to be a sanctuary city and you want to buck the federal government, then you need to foot the bill.
Right.
The federal government shouldn't be
shouldn't get a dime for anything.
Shouldn't be footing the bill.
Oh.
So I don't agree. Like, if New York wants to make themselves like, oh, we want to be a haven for, Haitian and Venezuelan sex offenders, and that's, have at it.
That's so extreme.
Like, have at it. But you shouldn't get any money from the federal government for that.
You went from just wanting you wanted to like protect these illegal immigrants because you just thought they were here for a better life. Okay. There's plenty of people that are going to like understand that.
Yep.
Right. And have compassion for that. But now you're just flat out defending and protecting violent, crazy criminals.
Yep. And Facebook still throttles the stuff, by the way.
What stuff?
So I reposted this clip from Fox News while we're talking about sex offenders. 158 Dems vote against a bill to deport illegal immigrants who commit sex crimes.
It's wild, man.
The only person who commented on it was you. No likes.
Yeah, obviously.
And it's absolutely insane. When you put a post that that they're throttled, that post just got buried. It was a Fox News repost that got buried by Facebook.
After he just got done saying how he was like,
I
was forced to.
He's full of shit. I mean, he may be forced, but you can then whatever. Who pressured you? Like, man up. And it's just, I mean, you're full of shit until proven otherwise. I can't with that guy.
He's a clown.
I can't. Any of these big techs. I mean, Bill Gates too. I mean, Bill Gates is the perpetrator of them all, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, we all have our products that we boycott, and I will, me and Microsoft, no dice, man. I'll never. That guy's a scumbag. He's the king of all scumbags, right there next to Tom Hanks.
I can't even pick one. There's so many at this point. It's a big ass club, man, and I couldn't pick one that's worse than the other because there's some pretty vile characters out there.
Yeah, so
pretty vile, man.
Clooney's another one. New Clooney video.
Clooney's a clown.
New Clooney movie come out that I'm not going to go see.
Such a clown. Taylor Swift. Oh,
Speaking of movies, though,
you watched the movie?
Went to the movies
recently.
Yes, last week.
To see what?
Reagan.
Oh, how was it? Because I want to go see that.
It was good, and you need to go see it.
I'd like to
they did as best a job as they could. They were
meaning
because. Well, first of all, it was a very good movie.
First of all, don't ruin the movie for me.
Yeah, but it was a very good movie. But when you're with a guy like Reagan, he led a pretty interesting life, and you're trying to squeeze that life and two very impactful terms,
right?
And a government, a stint as governor into a 2-hour movie.
Yeah.
It's like it's really tough. But you need to go see it.
Plus, sometimes stuff like that's better in a series. Right, like an Amazon Prime series or Netflix, because you can do more with it, and that's why you see in a lot of these big actors go into that stuff, just because you can
they have freedom.
You can just get a lot more out of it. Like you're right. It's you sacrifice things when you got to condense it into 2 hours.
Dennis Quaid, is that yeah.
I've only seen little clips of it. I thought from what I've seen, he did a pretty good job of being him.
Great, yeah. He had the the head movements and all and that stuff, and
he did a lot of research on that. We listened to him on a podcast coming back from South Dakota. We listened to him in the car on a podcast talking about like some of the stuff that he did and went to the Reagan Ranch and stuff like that.
Yeah,
he actually
was filmed on the Reagan Ranch.
He got to meet and visit with some guy that was like the he was like the caretaker of the property or something like that for, the whole time Reagan was alive. And he like recently, like he died, I think, before the movie came out or before the movie was actually like being produced or filmed. But yeah, he just like, he was in his place. Like he was his study, his all stuff. Like he like did a lot of research. He talked to a lot of people.
It was good.
That's cool. Well, you know what's coming up on Tuesday, right?
Oh, what's on Tuesday?
Tuesday's half price at AMC, if you remember, like us.
That's where we went. That's where we went.
Yeah.
That's where we went. As a matter of fact, we went last Tuesday.
So I think maybe I'll get mom to go out this Tuesday, maybe, and get her.
Yeah, it was it's great movie. A must see. We were the youngest people in the theater by at least 20 years.
That's wild. Kind of cool.
I mean, kind of cool, but yeah, we were the younger people, and it's full of Reagan jokes, and well, I mean, these kids today, they don't know who Reagan was, and, well,
I mean, most of them don't even know who the last president was.
No, correct. Or
the worst public school system in the history of our public school system.
They just don't know. But I mean, great movie. Go see it. Because when I say they did the best they could, it was you're squeezing such a life into a 2-hour film. No, definitely. And that's what I mean. Like there's things that I know that Reagan did, obviously, that were not in the movie, but and then there were things that were like touched in the movie. But one cool thing is as characters floated in and out, whether it was George Bush or there were a couple people that you're going to know their name when they pop up. They would put like a subtitle of who it was. Okay. Because you're going to see George Bush for like 30 seconds in the movie, but it tells you this is, this is George Bush, or this is whoever, this is, the Secretary of Defense. And,
right. Yeah.
Really, really cool.
That's cool.
Really dove into the relationship with Gorbachev and Thatcher. And wasn't Merkel? Who was Germany? I forget who Germany was at that time. But
no, I don't remember.
It wasn't. Yeah. But again,
I was just a kid.
I know, yeah, right. But I mean, it was great stuff, and I have a Reagan campaign pin downstairs.
Okay,
I'll show it to you before I leave. It was,
Where'd you get that?
From my grandmother. Yeah, that's
cool.
Yeah. So
I used to have buttons.
Well, it is a button. That's exactly what it's like the button that pins in,
Yeah, they even make those campaigns even do that anymore.
No, I don't think so. And we have buttons here. There's a Nixon button downstairs.
Yeah.
There's a Nixon button downstairs. There's a Reagan button downstairs. There's a Kennedy button in this house, packed someplace, an original JFK campaign button. Wow. That's big.
Yeah.
That's in this house somewhere that I got to find.
Big ass button. Who the hell's going to wear?
They did, man. It's they wore. We hang flags today. There were buttons.
It still drives me nuts that our Southampton firehouse where you go to vote doesn't give you the I voted stickers.
Oh, we get them sometimes.
Never, ever, ever.
Yeah, we get them sometimes.
15 years almost that we've been here.
I had them in my F-150, man. I had a bunch of them like on top of one another. My F-150 on my dash.
Yeah. No, and it annoys me because that election day every whatever 4 years or whatever, everybody starts posting. They got their little stickers on. I get no sticker, dude.
Yeah,
cheap bastards.
So yeah, it's a thing, man. It's a thing. But we're getting down to the wire here. It's be interesting to see how this folds.
So sitting here today, what are we? September
20th.
Not even 2 months, right?
Yeah, not even 2 months. November 14th.
It's November 4th.
November 4th, yeah.
So you're talking just over a month.
Yeah.
Right? So sitting here today, what does your gut say?
My gut says it's gonna be close, but I think that that we'll know before the night's over who the president's gonna be. And I don't see how they can win rightfully. I don't see how they can win rightfully. I mean, did you see? Just the rally, the rallies alone. You should be, but listen, you
it
should
was
be
the same
you
way in
should,
20 though.
you should be. This is what's going on now is worse.
I know, but he was still blowing. What was it? Biden out?
He was crushing Biden around.
He was still crushing him.
But what's going on now is worse. The people that were just in the North Carolina, the South Carolina rally, were all from Georgia, and most of them had attended the rally in Vegas.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, I don't really like people that are following the rally around though, because that's a little misleading.
That's my point. That's my point. It's misleading. It's like you're having a rally in Vegas, and then the same people.
Oh wait, you're talking about her?
Yes, her.
I thought you were talking about him. Okay,
her. And that's
Yeah, if you just have a convoy of people, that's the same people at every rally, then that means you don't have anybody.
And the thing was, when you see a Kamala rally, and this is not just me pointing this out. This has been pointed out many times at all, and you can go and look at it with your own eyes. Outside of a Kamala rally are buses and people getting off of buses.
Yeah. It's just like
outside of a Trump rally,
like every liberal protest. It's like outside they're not grassroots. They're not real.
Outside of a Trump rally,
60,000 people.
There's people parked for miles.
Yeah, it's not even. There's no comparison. I don't know, man. It seems like a lot of the more respected polls are pretty dramatically in his favor.
Yeah,
like Rasmussen and some of these other ones that aren't as like.
I almost feel
influenced and biased by people that hate Trump.
The Democrats have stopped throwing money at the campaign.
You think so?
I kind of feel like they've stopped throwing money at the campaign, or I don't know where the money's going because the money's not going into advertising.
Yeah, their commercials suck.
Their commercials are terrible.
They're just,
they bought a bunch of space on WYSP, our local sports channel, which I know you don't listen to, obviously, because it's an Eagles channel. But
serious radio.
They run the same stupid ad.
Yeah, it's
the same.
What's an opportunity economy?
I don't know
because that's what she's gonna make.
Is there a definition for opportunity economy?
Here's my question though. Like, again, this is just so simple. If you just have an ounce of common sense, why? Like anything that she says she's going to do, and I know some people point this out, but like Trump should be beating this to death more too. Like, why aren't you doing it now? Why haven't you already done it? You've been part of the presidential. You've been a vice president for almost 4 years. All the problems, like you're actually saying these are problems, but they're problems that you created, and now you're saying you're going to fix them.
Correct.
Like it's so basic. I feel like a fourth grader can like put these pieces together.
It's they could have fixed this border. They don't want to fix this border. They could have fixed abortion. They don't want to fix abortion. They don't want to do any of this stuff.
Well, like gas has like creeped down a little bit over the last week or so. It's like
gas has creeped down. You see the other thing that's happened?
Oh, all of a sudden with a month ago, now the gas is going down.
They're going to drop mortgage rates a month before the election,
which I think is shady as hell. And it's funny because I listened to a guy who's involved in that whole the Fed and blah blah blah, and he's flat out said that they don't do that this close to an election because they don't want to be accused of trying to affect an election.
Yeah,
and what do? They turn around and drop the rates right before the election.
Not only did they drop them, they were only supposed to drop a quarter.
Yeah, well, like a half,
and they dropped them a half.
Yeah, they're so shady, man. They're so shady.
I just shook my head at that, and they were hell bent on. Yeah, there's probably not going to be any more cuts for the rest of the year because we have an election. The election's in November. That's first quarter. So we're going to get through this year. But now unemployment has started to hit a point, where, we're up above 4% or 4.6 or whatever the heck we're at. And then there was there's been huge layoffs. Who was the tech company? I had it saved here. It's another tech company, big tech company that we all know. It's like a household name. And they laid off like 4,200 people earlier in the year. And they just laid off 5,200 people this month.
I'm telling you, man.
9,000 people.
It's crazy.
And that's after the Dems have cooked this jobs report.
So, and you see how quickly stuff like that gets swept under the rug.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, come out flat out say they bullshitted about this.
Yeah.
These numbers, and they've been lying to you for 3 years. And by the way, we made a mistake. Come on, man.
Yeah,
and then it's like reported one time and then just gone.
I think the Trump campaign though has been way ahead of the curve on hitting these podcasts. Trump has hit Who's the guy with the long scraggly hair, the comedian?
The little Theo Vaughn.
Yeah, he hit Theo Vaughn.
Yeah, that's wild that he hit Theo Vaughn. It's wild that Theo Vaughn's podcast is that big.
This is what I'm saying. I think they are way ahead of the curve. I think what he has done this election, especially if he wins, is going to change politics as we know it forever in the media. Because he hit Theo Vaughn, he hit the other dude who wears the tie, who is definitely not a conservative. I forget his name. He's another tough interview. He was on that podcast first, and then he gets on
Sean Ryan.
He gets on Sean Ryan, and he's been on another one. So it's like these podcasts have hundreds of thousands of, the reach of these podcasts is so broad.
Yeah.
And I mean, Jesus, Lord. And then again, Vance making the rounds. Yeah. Vance gets on Sean Ryan. Yeah.
No, it's definitely changed. I mean, who gives any credibility to these mainstream, like, why would you listen to a word they say?
Yeah.
At this point, who even turns them on?
And I feel,
it pains me to even turn on Fox,
yeah.
And they're, the closest thing to my side, but I can't even watch them.
I feel like there's only one Fox show I'm left watching right now.
What's that?
Gutfeld,
the one where they're like, it's comedy hour.
That's where I'm at, dude.
Yeah. It's kind of like that one. I'm like, this is weird.
And he was on Gutfeld this week.
Yeah. Yeah, he was.
He was on Gutfeld this week. Yeah. It is kind of weird, but it's kind of,
they're little comedy shticks. Like it's like a political freaking Saturday Night Live.
It's like a political satire, but it's I feel like there's not many punches pulled there.
You're getting the real news and the real questions and the opportunities for these people to be interviewed and have like real answers and be heard and not interrupted on freaking podcasts, dude. It's wild.
It's changed politics.
It is
forever.
wild. It really is crazy.
Change politics forever. And I think the problem, unfortunately, and I can't fault them for it. Like when you look at Megyn Kelly, for example, you look at Sean Ryan, is they see what mainstream media has become.
Yeah.
Right. You look at Tucker, they see what mainstream media has become.
Yeah.
And they're trying not to be the other way. You know what I mean? We almost as a society, like I need Megyn Kelly to be like, hardcore pro-conservative when she interviews Trump. You know what I mean? Like you need these people to be, more the opposite of what mainstream media is being. And they're not, they're just kind of being middle of the road, which I agree with.
I feel like she does a pretty good job of just doing the job and being, even though where like she kind of lies, I feel like she's still like will ask a tough question to a conservative the same tough question to a liberal. Like she's doing the job of journalism like the way it's supposed to be done, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I gather. And it's a shame. We were listening to her on, was it on Sean Ryan's where she was? I
thought that was one of the best interviews he's done.
And she was talking about the whole sexual harassment thing.
How that went down and with Murdoch.
Yeah.
If you're listening to this and you have not listened to Sean Ryan interview Megyn Kelly,
it's pretty good.
Do two things. One, before you listen to that, go to Megyn Kelly's site, listen to her interview with Sean Ryan.
Yeah.
Because that will give you an entirely different perspective on
I had to fast forward like the first 3 minutes.
Who he was. He's kind of tough, yeah.
No, the first 3 minutes of his interview with her was like a suck fest. They were both telling each other how great they were.
Oh, I know.
I was like, oh, all right, can we get to the interview? There was retarded. I was like, come on, man.
But the interview got good, and that
was good.
You knew Megyn Kelly was what had happened to her in that, in that sexual harassment. I
never followed that. I didn't know.
Oh yeah,
because I'm never even been like a big Fox News watcher or any of this, so I didn't really know that.
And then she switched. She switched networks. I used to be a big Fox News watcher. I'm not anymore, but I used to be a big Fox News watcher. And then I hung on to Tucker. And then once Tucker was gone,
there was nothing to stick around for.
I was done.
I don't necessarily love Jesse Waters. I don't think he has the same like panache and charisma as like Tucker and the people for him.
I think Jesse Waters,
and even I don't even love Hannity.
I don't love Hannity anymore.
Hannity's just super repetitive and kind of boring.
I feel like Jesse Waters is going to be great once his career goes into independent media.
I liked him.
I feel like he'll
so
be
what
better
he was
than-
like doing on the street stuff for Tucker.
Yeah.
Like, right. And I liked him there, but now in that seat, like taking over for Tucker, I don't think he's that great at it.
I just can't support him because I was a fan of Tucker, and I think that Tucker was doing a job, and they wanted somebody to do a job that, wasn't.
You mean kind of because it seems like he kind of stabbed him in the back and took his job?
I don't fault anybody. Like I would never fault him for that. I mean,
Then
they
why would you want to support him?
ousted Tucker. Jesse Waters was there. He took the opportunity. Just the fact that they ousted Tucker because they need somebody to deliver what they want delivered.
Okay.
And it's not necessarily, it's more not supporting Fox than it is not supporting him. You know what I mean? It's just,
I feel like he kind of delivers the same kind of message that Tucker did, though. Like
that Tucker did, yeah.
So it's not like, it doesn't seem like he's any more like by the company line than like he seems like just a
or maybe we didn't realize at the time how by the company line Tucker was. How much they were reeling him in, and they did. And he's a goofball. I mean, not for nothing. He's got an awkward laugh.
It's weird
that he can't control. I mean,
that's what makes him real, though.
It is what makes him real.
But it is weird.
Yeah, it's just Stacey's like, it's tough to listen to him. I'm like, yeah, but he's hilarious. Like,
but you can listen to RFK.
Oh, that was painful.
I mean, I can't vote for you, dude. Sorry.
I could never vote for him either.
I mean, just like
I
feel bad for him.
I could never vote for him just from a foreign policy standpoint. I feel like with an RFK in office, we will just get absolutely rolled. And while I don't
about him, but
he laid out his foreign policy. He's like, we just got to be done with everybody. Like we got to be out of everything, everywhere. And I feel like
certainly I kind of agree with that.
you do and you don't though until everybody's at your door. You know what I mean? It's
make thick doors, man. That's the problem.
I know. Make thick doors. I mean, I feel like you got to keep your tabs on China.
We're all over the place. We got bases all over the place. And meanwhile, our own borders, we can't keep secure.
Well, by choice.
Well,
by choice. By choice.
Not completely by choice. Even when Trump was here, people were still coming in illegally.
Yeah, at least they were working on it.
It ain't a free. I know, but they're still getting them. Like the problem is it's not serious enough. Like that entire, like the money that we give to other nations, you know what kind of wall we could have all the way across, like impenetrable.
Oh yeah.
If we chose to.
Just the Ukraine money. If
we chose to, but it's like, let's have, this handful of 30, border patrol guys in dune buggies trying to cover these hundreds of miles of ground. And how ridiculous is that idea that you could actually protect that border like that?
Mm-hmm.
Walls don't work, but yet we put one around every prison and expect it to work.
I know walls don't work, but Nancy Pelosi's got a 16-foot one.
Every single one of them has a wall.
16-foot one around her house.
Guns are bad, and they're all guarded by guns.
I know.
The hypocrisy is
crazy. I can't.
Rules for thee. And
the only thing I know about guns is I need to buy more.
You ain't kidding.
Yeah,
you ain't kidding.
That's the only thing I know about guns. I need to buy more because, we lose this power grid. We get hit with a terrorist attack where this power grid goes down. This power grid goes down for a month. People are, especially in the cities, people are gonna be savages.
Oh, no doubt. You saw what people would do over some toilet paper. Imagine if they're trying to feed their kids.
Yep. People are going to be savages.
Probably feed themselves because most people are selfish and care more about themselves and their kids. But crazy. Especially if you happen to have it in a dry time like we've had at the end of this summer. Right now, we haven't had rain in weeks, like real rain. It is not. I mean, I know you haven't been here, but I mean, I haven't been around.
Yeah, I mean, my grass is brown, bro. I mean, I don't know how your grass is at your house, but it's
not as nice as it was in the town where Kamala grew up, but
no, it's
we're not quite as proud of our lawns here in the Pine Barrens where it's hard to get good grass.
In the middle class Pine Barrens.
In the sandy acidic soil, you don't get great.
But it's been exceptionally dry here. I mean, the farms have been really watering. And you don't see them water all the time because it costs them money. Yeah. So it's been dry here, and I think you do something.
They don't use wells.
Dry. They do, but you gotta run a well pump.
But it's not like, I mean, yes, it's money, but it doesn't seem like it would be astronomical.
Yeah.
As if you had to pay for the water.
So I need to get a hand pump for this well is what I need to get.
Yeah.
That's I would feel much better if I had a hand pump for the well.
How would that even work? Yeah, where? Where's it go at?
They hook right onto where your well goes down. Yeah.
Yeah, it would just be an eyesore.
Yep. It would be water when you didn't have electricity, bro.
At a pool.
So
suck it out of the pool. Interesting. I don't know, man. It's quite the mess. I don't even think we've covered everything that's gone on since the last time we've done a podcast.
No, we tried though. We tried.
It's been a while.
We tried.
It was a crazy summer for both of us.
Pagers blew up in Israel.
Yeah, no, that was.
How about that? Do you know how that happened there? I've heard a take on how that happened.
So I've heard that someone convinced them that the pagers were that the Jews, Israel could too easily like hack and get into their phones and track their phones, and convince them that they should use pagers instead, and then sold them a batch of pagers that had like C4 in them.
They went to a company in Taiwan, right, to buy pagers from this company in Taiwan who had a shell company in Taiwan. The Taiwan company was attached to a shell company in Turkey, which was attached to a Israeli shell company. So Israel got the order. Basically, Israel got the order and put explosives, small charges into walkie-talkies too. They did it in walkie-talkies. Mm-hmm. They did it in pagers, and sent it back. And they were getting to the point where they must have had like some kind of intelligence leak where they were worried that they're going to figure it out.
Right.
So that's why they were like, well, F it, we got to blow them before they figure it out.
Well, what are you waiting for, though?
Well, I mean, yeah.
If you gave him a pager with C4 in it, I feel like the point was to blow them up anyway, right? At some point.
The point was to blow them up, but I feel like a lot of that stuff is timing. They're trying to. I mean, we just got a headline ticker came across. Hezbollah, launched 140 rockets into Israel just a few minutes ago. That was reported. So Israel knows that they're going to take heat. But and they need to be prepared to take the heat. I think that's prepared for a response.
Sure, they are.
So the pagers were triggered by a message. I mean, there's been all kinds of memes about what that message was, but so that way that somebody picked up the pager with their hand. And
why? Why would you want it in your hand?
Because then it would blow your hand off.
Wouldn't you rather be on their hip?
It's
more likely to kill you if it's doing.
I don't know
near your organs and in your. Who cares? If you
I don't know how big the charge was.
Now we just got a whole bunch of one-handed terrorists running around. Like
you got a bunch of Hezbollah guys with no right hand. Yeah.
You assume they all picked it up with their right
hand.
Well,
you assume
kind of racist shit is that?
Well, most of the population is right-handed, so you would assume that.
I would think I'd rather just be on their hip and just blast into their midsection.
Yeah.
Bleed out.
And the thing about the pagers, the other thing I read about the pagers is not every, obviously not every Hezbollah fighter has a pager.
Right.
That is basically how leadership was.
Right. But that seems like the more important people would have them.
That's exactly it. Right. So it would have been the more important people. And that was the thing about the pagers.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know some people I'd give a pager to.
I bet you do.
A few. I'd gladly text them message. Interesting. No, it's been crazy. It's going to get crazier, and I feel like now we've had like two attempted assassinations, and I feel like the third one the mainstream media might not even report on. Like it's just so like.
Well, there were reports of people at the last rally that just came out this morning that said that they had like chemical burns in their eyes and on their hands, who were standing next to, and I don't know, this was a news ticker, so I don't remember which news ticker this was, and they were at this Nassau rally where on the side where Trump entered.
Okay.
So they don't know if that was something that was attempted and was not impactful.
Yeah, at this point, it's like
there's a lot of false stuff going on.
You're going to hear a lot of bull crap.
There was a dude who, with a self-trained bomb dog.
What?
That he found. This was an asshole too. Guy had a self-trained bomb dog, and called the police because he found his self-trained bomb dog was sniffing explosives in a car parked outside an asshole Coliseum.
Probably a bong.
The police came and searched the car. Imagine parking your car. Some jackass with his self-trained bomb dog calls the police because his bomb dog is triggered by your car. Oh, and then you come out and your car is like just smashed and searched and the seats are out of it. Like, what the hell happened? That was the first thing that came to my head when I heard
dog
that.
right in the nuts. That's stupid. People are weird, man.
Oh,
holy crap,
man, I was laughing.
No, I don't know, but I mean, it's funny though because they said the first one was a week after the Biden debate.
Yep.
And this one was a week after the Harris debate.
Yeah, there's just no doubt in my mind. There's no doubt in my mind the government is trying.
I don't even think they're trying to hide it at this point.
And there's no doubt in my mind the government's trying to kill this guy.
Good grief. It's like one of those crazy movies. It's like, next thing you know, just one of his Secret Service guys is going to just, take him hostage or something. It's just weird, man.
I can't.
Wow.
That's how you know
Gerard Butler.
That's how you know he's the guy you should vote for. When the government keeps trying to kill this guy.
No joke.
That's how you know. That should tell you that's how you know.
They all want him dead. There's a reason.
Yeah.
And that should have you flocking to the polls or the polling stations and casting your vote, man.
I think the death of the Democratic Party is going to be the people who just don't vote.
Yeah, that's usually what they do.
I feel like they're just not going to vote
because I think there's a lot of people that will just never vote for Trump.
Right.
It doesn't mean they're going to vote for her.
Yeah, and I feel like
I'm cool with
at the core. That's the difference between today's Republicans, today's Democrats. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Today's Democrats are just not gonna. They're just like we're gonna abstain.
Yeah.
Whereas Republicans are like, no, F this, man. Like.
Yeah, well, I mean,
go vote. Independents are another story.
If she was our candidate, I might not be voting either.
It's tough, dude.
I mean,
they didn't vote for her to begin with.
Yeah, I mean that would be why. I mean, it's just what a slap in the face to an entire party of like all those voters. They just basically was like, your opinion doesn't matter.
And it's not even that. When she ran in the primary, in 2016,
first one to drop out.
She didn't even make it to the Iowa caucuses.
First one to drop out. She was polling so bad, and they were ready. They were talking about before he dropped out, Biden dropped out. They were talking about how she could possibly be dragging him down. They were talking about replacing her on the ticket.
I know
for VP.
I know.
That's how nobody likes her.
I know.
Now they're trying to,
but they will control her
to send this pretty little picture of how awesome she is and how inspirational she is. And they all hate her, but they control her for sure.
They control her.
But she's been controlled her whole life. I mean, she'll sell her soul for a little bit of.
I love the picture that surfaced today with her and P. Diddy. Another fine standing citizen.
Oh my gosh, dude.
All those years P. Diddy putting out albums, now he's going to get killed in prison.
Why is he going to get killed?
Oh, man. I don't know. Why'd Epstein get killed? These guys are trafficking young girls. You think they were trafficking young girls? The people who are broke and not important?
Yeah, man.
You think
bizarre.
You think, I mean, you think that there's people that probably Diddy can't flip on?
Yeah, I'm sure he could.
Otherwise it's just going to be the R. Kelly trial all over again. He's just going to be in jail.
Yeah.
Because they got him on racketeering too, because he used a business to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Which is actually worse.
Yeah.
I mean, Epstein's business was doing it.
Yeah.
From a penalty standpoint, from a racketeering charge is going to pull out of years, man.
Mm-hmm.
More years, probably, unfortunately or fortunately, whatever, more years than the sex trafficking is going to give him.
It's wild.
Yeah.
So weird, man.
Yeah. Well, racketeering was how they brought down the mob. So, I mean, that's why they made it so stiff.
I forget who I was watching. It was probably on Instagram, but the guy was basically saying, if you've ever been naked in a room with Diddy, you're probably going to jail. What they had some sort of freaking parties. I forget what they called them. Oh, freak something. I forget what it was, but it's some weird stuff. They pulled From what I was reading, they pulled over 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant out of his house.
That's crazy.
Bro, what kind of weird, freaky ass shit are you doing? Just lube and baby oil all in every cabinet. Like, just whenever you want to get busy, just grab some lube. Weird. What a weirdo, man.
I didn't see that one coming, man.
I don't know a lot about him. I just what a weirdo.
So, for a minor, for a racketeering charge is 20 years to life. That's what you get for racketeering. For each count of a minor, minors under the age of 14, the offender used force. The minimum is 15 years. If minors 14 to 7, the minimum is 10 years. That would obviously be each count. But
he could very well be in jail for the rest of his life.
Oh, he is racketeering and sex trafficking. He is. If they do that as consecutive sentences, he'll never see daylight again. But I don't.
He would have to roll on somebody big, and in which case he probably will end up dead.
I think he's going to end. I think he's going to end up dead before his trial.
You think so?
Yeah, I do. Hey, listen, wouldn't be the first thing I went public and said and maybe write about, because when we sat here and we started this stuff, I was like, Biden is not going to be on the ticket. And I knew it. I knew he was not going to make an election.
Yeah.
I just knew it. There was just no way.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't see it going down the way it went down, though.
I know. I was very suspicious when we had a debate that early in the process.
Yeah.
If that debate was now, I feel like if Trump made one mistake in this entire election, it was debating him too soon.
Right.
If they'd have debated him later, they'd have been screwed.
Yeah.
And I want to know, is she on the ballot in Arizona? Is she on the ballot in these states that Colorado?
That's the thing, man. There was some of those states, New Mexico and Arizona and stuff. They said that those ballots were locked, that they couldn't add anybody. So I don't understand what kind of shenanigans they're going to do to get her on the ballot there.
Yeah.
But I'm sure they'll do something.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So yeah, first one in a while here.
Yeah.
I'm getting ready to go to Denmark, so I'll be getting home next Friday.
Wow. Well, you'll have some interesting stories, hopefully.
Getting home, hopefully not too interesting.
Okay. Or not.
I like these trips to be very uneventful. I got to fly to Copenhagen. I got to somehow get to Copenhagen Central Station. I don't know if I'm doing that by taxi or by bus or by train. And then I got to get from Copenhagen Central Station to Aarhus Central Station, and then to a hotel somewhere. Hoping I run into people that speak English, or I can use Google Translate. I don't know.
You should be able to use a translator.
Yeah, I got. And then I fly out of a whole different city. Flying out of like Billund or some shit.
Give me a headache just thinking about it.
So yeah, yep.
Well, safe travels.
Heck yeah.
We'll do another one of these when you get back.
Yep.
It's been fun.
It is fun. It's been too long.
Yeah. Well,
sorry, Bonnie.
Yeah, for real. Hopefully things will calm down here now that we're hitting fall, and usually get a little slow, and hopefully we'll be able to get a little more consistent. But for those of you still listening to these despite our inconsistency, we appreciate you guys sticking around.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. And we still have our Tunnel to Towers fundraising going.
We do.
So you can still go to the link. Will that be posted?
Yes.
And you can donate to that. And if you're a motorcycle person, we are currently raffling off a set of love jugs.
Love jugs.
If you don't know what that is, that's a piece of equipment that cools down your air-cooled motorcycle motor. And you can get into that raffle by going to that link for a donation page, and every $20 gets you one entry. And in the comment box, make sure you write love jugs, and that will let us know that you're entering the raffle and not just donating money. And then we're going to do a live drawing here coming up in early October. So
Yep.
you could win. But even if you don't want to do that, you just want to help out Tunnel Towers and help us try to get to our goal, you can just donate whatever at that page.
And you can go right to www.baggersandbrewers.com if you're on a phone and the link is hard for you to get.
Yeah.
Scroll down and you'll see the link that says click here to donate on the Tunnel Towers logo.
Word.
So
Only a few months left.
Yeah. It's kind of cooled down after the summer a little bit, but we're still going to plug it away.
Yes, sir. So yeah, that's it for today. Thanks for listening, guys. And I guess we'll see you on the next one.
All right.
Deuces.
Later.